Hey everyone, welcome back to Switch Top. 2025 has been an absolutely incredible year for Nintendo Switch games, and today we're counting down the top 20 highest rated games that dropped in 2025 on both Switch 1 and Switch 2. These are the games that critics and players have been raving about, so let's jump right into the list. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond stands as a confident evolution of the Prime formula, blending familiar first-person exploration with fresh mechanical ideas that meaningfully expand how the world is approached. Players once again guide Samus through dense alien environments built around non-linear progression, environmental puzzles, and atmospheric combat, where scanning remains central to uncovering lore and understanding enemy behavior. Combat feels deliberate and tactical, enhanced by new psychic abilities that allow Samus to manipulate objects, interact with the environment from a distance, and add creative layers to encounters and puzzle solving. Level design balances classic interconnected interiors with broader, semi-open regions that function as exploration hubs, offering a greater sense of scale while still rewarding careful navigation and backtracking. A new traversal vehicle introduces faster movement across these spaces and subtly changes how players engage with terrain without replacing traditional exploration. Narratively, the game leans heavily on environmental storytelling, placing Samus on an unfamiliar world tied to ancient civilizations and lingering threats, with much of the story pieced together through scanning and visual context, rather than direct exposition.
They're inside! It's going back into the danger now! Everybody cover! It's Samus! Friendly! Shoot your fire! All clear!
Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo is a clever top-down action-adventure that stands out through its inventive core mechanic and confident design. You play as Pipit, a lively bat whose cursed yo-yo functions as the heart of both combat and exploration, creating a system that feels immediately playful yet surprisingly deep. The yo-yo is used to strike enemies, ricochet attacks off walls, activate switches, and interact with the environment in creative ways, while advanced techniques allow for traversal tricks such as crossing gaps or water and reaching distant ledges. Combat rewards positioning and timing rather than raw aggression, encouraging players to experiment with angles and movement during encounters. Exploration follows a classic Zelda-inspired structure, featuring interconnected districts, hidden secrets, and ability-based progression that gradually opens new routes and shortcuts across the map. Visually, the game embraces vibrant pixel art, with expressive animations that give each area strong personality and charm. The story complements the mechanics with a lighthearted yet engaging tone, focusing on Pipit's quest to reclaim stolen power cores, while navigating humorous family dynamics and eccentric characters. Octopath Traveler 0 refines the series' identity by expanding its strategic depth while offering a more cohesive narrative structure. Combat remains firmly turn-based, built around the familiar break-and-boost system that rewards exploiting enemy weaknesses, but it evolves through a more flexible party setup that allows multiple characters to be recruited and swapped during battles, encouraging experimentation and long-term planning rather than rigid roles. Exploration follows classic JRPG traditions, with wide regions, layered dungeons, and towns filled with NPCs, whose interactions are shaped by expanded path actions that influence both story outcomes and progression. Unlike earlier entries that emphasized mostly separate character arcs, the story here revolves around a customizable protagonist whose destroyed homeland becomes the emotional anchor of the journey, creating a stronger overarching narrative that connects companions, conflicts, and locations across the continent. A town rebuilding system adds a meaningful layer of agency, letting players reconstruct their home through structures and resources that tie directly into exploration, side quests, and character growth.
No, here goes nothing. Yes, it did be strong.
Let's end this.
This is our chance. I've got it. Be strong. Time to...
Absolum is a bold fusion of classic side-scrolling beat-em-up action and modern roguelike structure, delivering fast, skill-driven combat supported by deep progression systems. Set in the fractured fantasy world of Tala, the game lets players choose from several distinct rebels, each defined by a unique fighting style that shapes how encounters unfold, from heavy melee pressure to agile hit-and-run tactics and magic-focused aerial control. Combat emphasizes timing, positioning, and combo mastery through light and heavy attacks, dodges, parries, and powerful arcana abilities fueled by mana, giving fights a deliberate rhythm rather than button-mashing chaos. Roguelike elements sit at the core of progression, with each run offering branching paths, shifting level layouts, optional objectives, and build-defining rituals that modify skills, elemental effects, and playstyle, ensuring no two attempts feel the same. Between runs, permanent upgrades gradually expand character strength and unlock new options, rewarding persistence and experimentation. The narrative is woven subtly into the experience through dialogue, lore fragments, and environmental storytelling, centering on a rebellion against a tyrannical ruler who has outlawed magic, grounding the action in a clear sense of purpose without slowing momentum.
Wizards! Slaughter them!
Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist is a refined, atmospheric Metroidvania that builds its identity around emotional storytelling, deliberate exploration, and highly customizable combat. Players control Lilac, a fragile protagonist who does not attack directly, but instead purifies corrupted homunculi and summons them as combat partners, each providing distinct attacks, movement skills, or defensive options that fundamentally shape how encounters play out. Combat emphasizes positioning, timing, and loadout experimentation, allowing multiple companions to be equipped at once, so players can tailor builds for bosses, traversal challenges, or exploration-heavy segments. The world is structured as a dense network of interconnected areas filled with shortcuts, hidden paths, and optional challenges, encouraging thoughtful backtracking supported by a clear and helpful map system. Progression feels steady and rewarding as new abilities unlock access to previously unreachable regions while deepening combat possibilities. The story unfolds quietly in the melancholic Land of Fumes, where environmental details, subdued dialogue, and boss encounters gradually reveal the tragic history of both humans and homunculi, reinforcing the game's somber tone without heavy exposition. Popucom is a colorful and inventive cooperative puzzle platformer that builds its identity around teamwork, color logic, and playful experimentation. Designed primarily for 2 players, the game challenges partners to navigate vibrant 3D stages filled with blob-like enemies, traps, and environmental puzzles that all react to color-based rules, making communication and coordination essential. Core gameplay revolves around shooting and manipulating colored spheres, with Match 3 interactions used to defeat enemies, remove obstacles, and activate mechanisms, blending light combat seamlessly into puzzle solving. Platforming sections often require players to swap colors, time actions together, and combine abilities to progress, ensuring that success depends on cooperation rather than individual skill alone. As the adventure unfolds, players unlock a variety of tools and super artifacts, such as shields, bombs, and utility gadgets that expand tactical options and open alternative routes through levels, adding depth without overcomplicating the mechanics. Beyond the main adventure, a party mode supports larger groups and introduces fast-paced challenges that emphasize reflexes and teamwork, giving the experience strong replay value. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment delivers a refined take on the Musou formula by blending large-scale hack-and-slash combat with deeper strategy and strong ties to Zelda lore. Players battle through expansive maps packed with enemy forces, capturing keeps and completing shifting objectives while unleashing long combo strings, special attacks, and character-specific abilities that give each warrior a distinct rhythm and role on the battlefield. Combat is more tactical than traditional Warriors entries, encouraging smart positioning, timing, and the use of environmental tools such as elemental effects and Zonai-inspired devices to break enemy defenses and control crowds. The ability to switch characters mid-battle keeps encounters dynamic and allows flexible responses to changing objectives or powerful bosses. Progression systems focus on upgrading weapons, unlocking new skills, and strengthening characters, creating a satisfying sense of growth across lengthy campaigns and optional challenges. The story acts as a canonical prequel set during the Imprisoning War, placing Princess Zelda, King Rauru, and their allies against Ganondorf's rising threat, with cinematic missions that blend narrative moments directly into gameplay rather than separating action and story. Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster revives two legendary JRPGs with respectful visual upgrades and modern conveniences, while preserving the systems that made them timeless. Both games center on classic turn-based combat with 6-member parties, where strategy comes from smart formation choices, rune customization, and synergy between characters rather than raw numbers. A defining feature is the recruitment of the 108 Stars of Destiny, a massive and diverse cast whose presence impacts combat options, story events, and the growth of your headquarters, turning progression into a sense of building a living community. Battles extend beyond standard encounters to include tense one-on-one duels and large-scale war sequences that blend tactical decisions with narrative stakes, adding variety and scale to the experience. Exploration moves through towns, castles, and dungeons filled with NPCs who feel meaningfully tied to the world's conflicts, reinforcing the series' strong political tone. Suikoden 1 lays the groundwork with a rebellion story driven by corruption and loyalty, while Suikoden 2 deepens the formula with a more emotionally charged narrative focused on friendship, betrayal, and the human cost of war, widely regarded as one of the genre's strongest stories. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles refines a landmark strategy RPG by preserving its deep tactical identity while modernizing presentation and accessibility. Gameplay centers on grid-based, turn-based battles, where terrain height, facing, and turn order are as critical as raw stats, rewarding careful positioning and long-term planning. The flexible job system remains the backbone of progression, allowing characters to switch classes, learn abilities across roles, and create powerful synergies that encourage experimentation and adaptive strategies for every encounter. Battles unfold on detailed diorama-style maps, with quality-of-life improvements like clearer interfaces, adjustable pacing, and voiced scenes smoothing the flow without diminishing the challenge. Outside combat, progression ties missions together through a steady cadence of customization and party growth that reinforces tactical mastery. The story is a defining strength, following Ramza Buell through the Lion War in the troubled land of Ivalice, where shifting alliances, class struggle, and political manipulation drive a mature narrative rarely seen in the genre.
Right.
Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma reimagines the series' familiar blend of action RPG combat and life simulation with a stronger focus on restoration, exploration, and community growth. Players take on the role of an Earth Dancer, tasked with cleansing the land of Azuma after a catastrophic event disrupts the flow of runes, leaving villages abandoned and nature corrupted. Combat unfolds in real time, emphasizing smooth weapon handling, elemental abilities, and responsive movement as you battle monsters, explore dungeons, and confront large bosses, keeping encounters fast-paced without overwhelming complexity. Alongside combat, farming and crafting remain central, with streamlined systems for planting seasonal crops, managing fields, cooking meals, and creating equipment that directly feeds back into progression. Village rebuilding adds a satisfying layer of purpose, allowing you to reclaim ruined areas, place structures, and invite residents back, gradually restoring each seasonal region and unlocking new services and story threads. Social systems deepen the experience through friendships, romance options, and character-driven events that flesh out Azuma's inhabitants and reinforce the game's themes of connection and renewal. Mario Kart World takes the familiar Mario Kart formula and boldly expands it into a connected, open-world structure while preserving the tight, approachable racing that defines the series. Core gameplay still revolves around fast-paced kart racing with large grids of competitors, featuring responsive drifting, item-based chaos, and accessible controls that reward skill without excluding casual play. What sets this entry apart is how traditional tracks are woven into a seamless world, allowing players to drive between race locations across diverse environments such as cities, plains, icy regions, and volcanic areas, creating a stronger sense of place and scale. Free roam activities encourage exploration beyond competitive races, offering optional challenges, collectible hunts, and timed trials that add variety and reward curiosity. Classic modes like Grand Prix are restructured around this interconnected map, while Knockout Tour introduces a high-pressure elimination format that links multiple races together, emphasizing consistency and survival over single victories. The character roster is one of the largest in the series, mixing iconic Mario characters with playful newcomers, alongside cosmetic customization that adds personality without disrupting balance. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition delivers a vast, systems-driven RPG experience built around freedom, scale, and discovery. Set on the alien planet Mira, the game follows a customizable survivor who joins the organization Blade to help protect the human colony of New Los Angeles, while unraveling the mysteries of a hostile, breathtaking world. Exploration is the heart of the experience, with enormous continents filled with diverse biomes, towering creatures, hidden resources, and layered side quests that reward curiosity and careful scouting. Combat blends real-time action with tactical depth, allowing seamless switching between melee and ranged weapons, skill-based cooldown management, and party coordination that emphasizes positioning and synergy rather than simple stats. One of the defining features is the introduction of Skells, massive, pilotable mechs that dramatically expand traversal and combat, enabling flight, heavy firepower, and encounters against colossal enemies that redefine the sense of scale. The Definitive Edition enhances the original design with cleaner visuals, smoother performance, improved quest tracking, and streamlined party management, making its complex systems more approachable without sacrificing depth.
Open fire! Follow me!
Target in sight! Shadow strike!
Assault hammer!
Nice! Move in and do some damage!
Flame grenade!
Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is a sharp, retro-inspired 2D action platformer that distills the essence of the Ninja Gaiden series into a demanding yet fluid modern experience. Players control Kenji Mozu, a young ninja tasked with defending his clan from demonic forces, whose journey soon intertwines with Komori, a rival kunoichi whose unique abilities add meaningful variety to both combat and traversal. Gameplay is built around precision and momentum, combining fast sword strikes, wall jumps, air dashes, and the iconic guillotine boost to maintain constant motion while navigating tightly designed stages packed with aggressive enemies. Combat rewards timing and awareness through systems like Hypercharge, which opens brief windows for devastating attacks that can instantly turn high-pressure encounters in the player's favor. Level design emphasizes rhythm and mastery, blending hazardous platforming with carefully placed foes and escalating into intense boss fights that rely on pattern recognition, quick reactions, and disciplined execution. Rather than brute force, success comes from learning enemy behavior and maintaining flow, reinforcing the game's old-school challenge philosophy. Super Mario Galaxy plus Super Mario Galaxy 2 brings together two of Nintendo's most imaginative 3D platformers, showcasing design ideas that still feel inventive and polished. Both games revolve around precise, fluid movement as Mario runs, jumps, spins, and navigates compact planets where gravity constantly shifts, allowing players to walk along walls, ceilings, and spherical surfaces in ways that completely redefine spatial awareness. Level design thrives on variety, with each galaxy introducing a fresh mechanic or twist, from gravity-flipping challenges to creative power-ups that enable flight, phasing, or enhanced mobility. Exploration is tightly paced yet rewarding, encouraging players to experiment and revisit stages in search of hidden power stars that test skill, timing, and observation. Super Mario Galaxy pairs its platforming with a whimsical cosmic atmosphere and a surprisingly heartfelt narrative framed through Rosalina's storybook, adding emotional weight to the journey to rescue Princess Peach. Super Mario Galaxy 2 sharpens the formula with denser level design, faster pacing, and the addition of Yoshi, whose unique abilities expand traversal and puzzle solving without complicating the controls. Hades 2 expands on the fast, addictive foundation of its predecessor, with deeper systems, broader scope, and a fresh narrative focus rooted in Greek mythology. Players control Melinoe, an immortal witch of the underworld, whose quest to confront the Titan Kronos drives a relentless roguelike loop built around swift, responsive combat and constant experimentation. Encounters blend melee strikes, ranged attacks, and spellcasting, supported by a wide array of weapons, magic tools, and divine boons that radically reshape playstyles from one run to the next. Combat rewards precision, positioning, and smart synergy between abilities, making each escape attempt feel tense and expressive rather than repetitive. Runs unfold across multiple distinct biomes, filled with randomized encounters, environmental hazards, and demanding boss fights that test adaptability and mastery. Failure is woven naturally into progression, as persistent upgrades, crafting systems, and unlockable gear steadily expand Melinoe's capabilities and open new tactical options over time. Storytelling is seamlessly integrated into this structure through rich dialogue, evolving character relationships, and reactive narrative beats that respond to player progress, giving emotional weight to repeated attempts.
Slowing down.
Trails in the Sky First Chapter is a thoughtfully modernized version of a beloved JRPG that emphasizes world building, character growth, and tactical depth. Set in the Kingdom of Liberal, the story follows Estelle and Joshua Bright as they begin their journey as junior members of the Bracer Guild, taking on local requests that gradually draw them into political intrigue and far-reaching conflicts. Exploration is deliberate and rewarding, with towns, roads, and dungeons filled with NPCs whose dialogue evolves alongside the story, reinforcing a strong sense of a living world. Combat blends light action elements with a turn-based tactical system built around a visible turn order, positioning, and the flexible orbment system, where equipping quartz defines each character's abilities, spells, and stat focus, encouraging careful planning and party synergy. Battles reward foresight and adaptability rather than grinding, making encounters feel consistently engaging. The remake enhances the experience with fully voiced dialogue, updated visuals, smoother menus, and refined quest tracking, improving pacing and accessibility while respecting the original structure.
Here we go!
Sit! Stun!
Hollow Knight Silksong expands the foundations of its predecessor into a faster, more acrobatic Metroidvania built around precision, discovery, and atmosphere. Players step into the role of Hornet, whose agile movement set emphasizes speed, verticality, and momentum, reshaping how exploration and combat flow through the interconnected kingdom of Farloom. Platforming is more dynamic, with abilities such as grappling, wall climbing, and mid-air maneuvers opening complex routes that encourage mastery and thoughtful backtracking. Combat feels sharper and more tactical, relying on quick strikes, mobility, and smart positioning rather than sustained pressure, while enemies are designed to demand observation and patience before exploiting openings. A new Silk-based system replaces traditional resource management, tying healing and special techniques to active play and forcing constant risk-reward decisions during encounters. Progression is driven by exploration and experimentation, with tools and crests allowing players to customize Hornet's abilities and fine-tune their approach to both bosses and traversal challenges. The world itself is dense and carefully layered, filled with optional paths, hidden lore, and side quests tracked through an in-game journal that adds structure without breaking immersion. Dragon Quest I and II HD 2D Remake revisits the origins of the Dragon Quest saga with a careful balance of tradition and modern refinement, preserving the series' classic turn-based structure while smoothing its rough edges for contemporary play. Exploration follows a timeless JRPG rhythm as players traverse broad overworlds, towns, and dungeons, gathering information, upgrading equipment, and engaging in command-based battles that emphasize preparation and smart use of spells and items. Combat remains intentionally deliberate, but quality-of-life improvements such as clearer menus, improved pacing, and flexible battle flow make encounters feel more fluid without sacrificing strategic intent. The first adventure centers on a solitary hero, reinforcing a focused, almost lonely tone as you confront encroaching darkness through gradual growth and discovery, while the second expands the formula with a party-based system that introduces role variety, spell synergy, and richer tactical decision-making. Narratively, both stories are straightforward yet foundational, built around themes of legacy, courage, and the spreading influence of evil, now enhanced with added scenes and deeper lore that give greater emotional context to characters and locations. Split Fiction is a tightly crafted, cooperative action-adventure that thrives on constant reinvention, built from the ground up for two players working in sync. You play as Mio and Zoe, two writers trapped inside a machine that pulls them into the worlds of their own stories, forcing them to collaborate across wildly different fantasy and science fiction settings, while reconciling their clashing creative perspectives. Gameplay is defined by rapid mechanical shifts, with each chapter introducing new ideas such as coordinated platforming, environmental puzzles, shooting segments, vehicle sequences, gravity manipulation, or perspective-based challenges, ensuring the experience never settles into repetition. Split-screen co-op is central to every system, requiring precise communication, timing, and mutual awareness, as each player often has unique abilities or viewpoints that must be combined to progress. The game constantly designs challenges around cooperation rather than individual skill, making teamwork feel essential rather than optional. Optional side stories scattered throughout levels add extra mechanical twists while deepening character development, revealing personal histories and creative insecurities that ground the spectacle in emotion.
Okay, here's another one. Now they're in one of Zoe's fancy stories.
I'm a fairy!
Where they can shapeshift.
What the?
Into various fantastic creatures. Each with its unique set of abilities to help.
Donkey Kong Bananza reimagines the Donkey Kong series as a bold 3D platformer centered on freedom, destruction, and discovery. Gameplay is built around DK's raw strength, allowing players to smash, dig, and tear through large, layered environments where nearly every surface can be destroyed to reveal secrets, alternate paths, and hidden collectibles. This sandbox-style design blends traversal and combat seamlessly, as chunks of terrain can be ripped out, swung as weapons, or hurled to clear obstacles and enemies in physics-driven encounters. Traditional platforming elements like jumping, climbing, and rolling remain responsive and satisfying, while environmental interaction becomes the primary puzzle-solving language, encouraging experimentation over rigid solutions. Progression is supported by light RPG systems, with collected resources used to unlock new abilities and enhance DK's destructive toolkit without slowing the pace. The adventure pairs Donkey Kong with Pauline and other familiar faces, as they pursue stolen Banandium gems and uncover the mysteries of a vast underground world, with narrative moments woven naturally into exploration rather than delivered through long cutscenes. And there's our list of the top 20 highest-rated Nintendo Switch games from 2025. It's been an amazing year for the platform, with everything from long-awaited sequels to surprising indie hits. What games from 2025 have you been playing? Drop your favorites in the comments below and let me know if you agree with this list. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo Switch content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.